Okay, this is now the independent practice, page 141 and 142. I forgot to write that in. That's okay. We're going to go over numbers 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and 12. Now, before we get into it, let's go over the answers. And if you got it right, perfect. You can skip the rest of the video. If you got some of them wrong, that's okay. You can fast forward to the problem that you got wrong. But here we go anyways. Number 2 is 14. Number 4 is 200. Number 6 is 134. Number 8 is 406. Number 10 is 260,000. Don't forget that comma. And number 12 is approximately about 25%. Okay. Let's just get right into it. Number 2 and number 4, we have to estimate each percent. Number 2, we have 19% of 72. I'm going to switch back to pencil because if I make a mistake, it'll be much easier to erase. Okay, again, the goal here is to work with compatible numbers. Find we can round easily or work with easily. We can divide, add, subtract, all that. 19% turns to 20 real easily. I like that. 72 becomes 70. Again, they're both round numbers. I like that. They end in 0. 20% is 20 per 100. By now, you know this simplifies to 1/5. 1/5 of 70. And by now, you know how I'm going to do this. Okay, we're going to look for two equivalent fractions. The first one is 1/5. The second fraction is something over 70. I like this. We're just multiplying. Again, you can do it with division if you want. Look at the other guided practice video if you want to know how to do that. All right, how many groups of 5 can I make from 70? We can do simple division, but I'm going to skip that right now and just see the work. You can verify this for yourself later on. I can make 14 groups of 5. That means I have to do the same thing in the numerator. That means the answer is 14. And there is verify. All right. Number 4, estimate each percent. Number 4, we have 67% of 296. Okay. Oof. Let's see what we get. 67 rounds up to 70% nicely. 296 goes to 300. All right. Let's see if this works. 70%, 70 per 100. Multiplied by a factor of 10. Oh, sorry. That's 7/10. All right. Of 300. So 300 is our full set. That becomes a denominator here. Okay. Oh, excuse me. All right. Now, to go from 10 to 300, we're scaling up, but by a factor of what? I know 10 times 3 gives me 30, and I just add another 0. Now, guess what? Now I have 300. So we'll do the same thing over here. 7 times 30 is 210. Voila, 210. Guys, seriously, do not overthink it. It can be this easy. Okay? This isn't a word problem. This is just where you attack the numbers. Make sure you copy the problem correctly. Do a little thinking about compatible numbers. I like numbers that end in 0 myself. You might want to do that too, but your choice, okay? All right. You could have done 60, by the way, but we want something that's as close to the original as possible. 60 is further away from 67. 70 is closer. That means when I get the answer, this answer will be closer to the actual answer if I were to multiply this times that. Okay? Again, don't forget of means multiply. Okay. Anyways, that leads us to number 6. This time we have to use the rate per 100. Estimate using the rate per 100. Okay. 67% of 208. By the way, on the quiz, follow the directions. If it says use rate per 100, use rate per 100. Okay? Now, if it doesn't say use this or that, then do whatever works best for you. Okay? So rate per 100. We're trying to figure this out. Per 100. 67% is 67 per 100. We have 208. We want to get to 208. But again, let's think of compatible numbers. 208 is pretty close to 200, so I'll leave it at that. You can't see what I just did. There it is. I can make 2 groups of 100 to get to 200. And so I do the same thing over here. Times 2. 7 plus 67, 134. And there's your answer, 134. Okay? About. Again, the actual answer might be a little lower than that, but you get the idea. All right, number 8. It's a word problem, so let's read it carefully first and see what we have to do. In Nathan's baseball card collection, 58% of the cards are players from the National League. He has 702 baseball cards. About how many baseball cards are players from the National League? Use a rate per 100 to estimate. Okay, let's figure out what we have first. We're talking about baseball cards. Okay, a bunch of little cards with a guy and a bat. Again, I'm baseball bat. I'm not gonna draw a stick figure, I guess. All right, he has 702 baseball cards. Again, don't attack the numbers. Make sure you understand the problem. Make sure you can see the story. We're talking about a man with, yeah, Nathan, he's a guy. A man with 702 baseball cards. Okay, 68% of them. Now, if we were to take a box with all the cards in it, in a little box, and if you've ever seen them, you can put them in a little box. 68%, a little more than half, I think we overdid it, but you get the idea, are from the National League. I'm going to write out the word. But we need a number, okay? So for every 100, 58 are from the National League, from what I understand. Why did I say it like that? Because it wants us to use the per 100 rate. So let me set it up for you then. 58% of 702. We're looking for compatible numbers. Let's work with this. Let's try 60. It may work, it may not. If it blows up in my face, well, that's just the way it goes. It's okay to make mistakes, people. I say that to you. Oh, but wait a minute. 60% of 702. Why didn't I change this to 700? Because we're using the rate per 100, right? So I guess I should have done it. Now that I think about it. Ta-da. Let me erase that. It's pretty close to 700. So I'm going to rewrite this, right? Now, if we're going to do the estimated percent, we can just do what we normally did with all the other problems. I don't know why I said percent. My mistake. But that's not the per 100, is it? So let's set it up again. Don't erase it. Just I'm showing you how to do this. If you want to erase it later, that's fine. 58% of 702. We want the per 100 method. 58% is 58 per 100, right? 58%, 58 per 100. We have 702 cards, which is pretty close to 700, so I'll leave it at 700. It's a compatible number. I can work with that. It's compatible with what number, though? What are we talking about? I can see that this works easily with that. I can multiply this by 7 to get this easily. Now, if I'm going to do that, then I have to do the same thing here. 58 times 7, what is that? Well, this one I can't do in my head, unfortunately. I can round it to 60, but that's not the point. Here we go. Let me just do the work then real fast. I can't do this one in my head. 7 times 8, 56. Carry the 5. 7 times 5 is 35, plus 5 is 40. 406. That means out of 702 cards, 406 of them are from the National League. That's number 8. Okay, hope that helps. Number 10. Okay, another word problem. This is doable. Let's draw the line. Again, remember the whole point of this is for you to write questions, or if you notice patterns, anything you notice, any questions you might have, write it there, and then you can share with me during the Zoom meeting, or obviously it'll help you remember how to do this when you take the test, which will be this Friday. All right, number 10. About 42% of Alaska's population lives in the city of Anchorage. If Alaska has a total population of 648,818, about how many people live in Anchorage? All right. Oof. All right. My attempt at drawing a city, just buildings, tall buildings. That's always what I think of. Anchorage. A-N-C-O-R. According to the problem, there are 648,818 people. Stick figures, I love those. All right. Now, these are people. You know what? I didn't read the problem carefully, did I? All right. Anchorage. Are these people who live in the city? No, these are people that live in the State of Alaska. So all these people are in Alaska. There's all these people, right? But, and I should write this down. This is Alaska. This many people, 42%, live in Anchorage. Okay? So we're going to take 42% of this to figure out how many people live in the city of Anchorage. Okay? Let me write this question down. How many people live in Anchorage? Capital A, proper noun. Anchorage. And this is number 10, just to remind myself. All right, so 42% of 648,818 people. Okay, hope that makes sense. Okay, just before I move on to the math, make sure you understand the story. This many people live in Alaska, which is a state, the United States of America, but we want to know how many people live in the city of Anchorage, which is 42% of this. And there it is, 42% of that big number. So what are we doing here? 42%, let's try 40. I could try 50, but that might be going too far. And this, 650. Nice round number. I could do 600,000 or I could do 700,000, but I think that's too far away from the original number. Okay. Now we have to use, well, what are we doing here? We can use the per hundred, we can use the estimated percent. You know what, let's try to estimate the percent. Let's estimate. 40% is 40 per hundred. And that comes out to 2/5. 2/5 of 650,000. Jeez Louise. All right, let's keep going. Let's make two equivalent fractions if we can. 2/5 equal to okay, now the question then is, how many groups of 5 can I make from all that? 5 times what gives you that? Well, this looks like a division problem. How many groups of 5 can I make out of this? So I'm going to divide this into that. So let's do the division on the side. We're making groups of 5. I can make one group of 5 from 6. Again, we're just multiplying. Subtract. Bring down the 5. How many groups of 5 can I make from 15? That's 3. All right. It's not 13, by the way. And then I bring down 0. Well, how many groups of 5 can I make from 0? 0. And the rest are going to be 0. All right. So it's 5 times 130,000. But then I'm going to have to do this over here. 2 times 130,000. That comes out to 260,000. So the final answer is 260,000 people live in Anchorage. There you go. Sorry for slap writing. Okay, one more to go. One more to go. Number 12. It says, estimate the percent that is shaded in each figure. Okay, figure. I don't know. Figure. I don't know. Figure. What is that? All right, 12. More or less. Okay. And let's shade it in. Estimate the percent that is shaded in each figure. Now, there's no real math. Well, there is and there isn't. You don't have to multiply anything or add anything. You're going to have to think about this. Okay. This is what I'm thinking. All right. This shape is about this big, right? Obviously, you see it in front of you. If I'm going to continue the lines, it looks like I have enough for 4 of these. Okay. That means my denominator is going to be 4, because I'm making sets of 4, but I only have one shaded. Okay. When you do this at home, do it in pencil. I just did it in pencil, you can see it. Play with it. It's just a game. You just have to think. It's a puzzle. this shape looks like I could fit 4 of them, maybe 5, but let's try 4. It's just an estimate, so this isn't a sample answer. But I think 4 looks good, right? Doing this, I can see, that looks about right. All right, I want percent. So percent, that means I have to change this fraction to a percent. That means I want an equivalent fraction. Change this to an equivalent fraction with a denominator of 100. I think you know where this is going. I can make 4 groups of 25 or 25 groups of 4. And do the same thing for the top. 25 per 100 is 25% approximately. And that's it for that. Hope this helped.